namaskar to all the viewers of Pathrika channel who is watching it live now or who will watch it later once they upload it again after editing. I'm Shantanu Gupta. As Rajesh ji told me, I'm born in Uttar Pradesh, Bareilly, then born and brought up, in fact, brought up in Rishikesh, which is a town then in UP, but now in Uttarakhand, a new state formed in 2000. Did my school in Kendriya Vidyalaya, then went to do my engineering in mechanical engineering. Then after a couple of years of working, went to XLRI, did my management program. Then after that, I spent a couple of years in Europe, Switzerland, Cyprus. I traveled to Germany also sometimes. Then after working in corporate from 8-9 years, I took a detour and went to UK to did my master's in political science and policy. After coming back from there, I started working with large NGOs, started from Hyderabad, then Mumbai, then Delhi, then moved to the tribal and rural hinterlands of India, started working with UNICEF. So once I gathered enough understanding of how government functions, how like the interplay between the society and the government, I moved on to Delhi and started working with a think tank, Center for Civil Society. And around 2014, I left the job, started working on my own, started helping Baba Ramdev on his communication. And around 2016, I started writing books. And in 2017, this book happened, The Monk Who Became Chief Minister, who very fortunately for me was launched by Yogi Adityanath himself, as you're seeing in the picture. So through some pictures, I'll try to take you through my journey of writing the book. And through that journey, I will also try to take you through the content of my book, right? In fact, before that, if you all allow me, I want to play a video if I'm able to. Let me just, yeah. Okay, let me, this is basically a promo video of my book, but it encapsulates the whole book and quite a personality of Yogi Adityanath. It's in a rap form, a young chap made it, but I'm sure you will enjoy it. I'm trying to play it now.
Suno mere brother, suno meri sister, the story of the monk who became chief minister, a wonderful leader, the fearless yogi. Inki taarif inke kaam se hi hogi. Dirty politics inke aate hi khatam. Bada simple sa hai inda kaam, zyada baatein kam. Sabka solution inka janta darbar. Koi mazak to nahi hona MP 5 baar lagatar. Adityanath yogi, 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 yogi. योगी योगी करते हैं सारे यहाँ पर पूरी कहानी सब जाने कहाँ कलरफुल लाइफ ये कैसे सैफरन हुई and how come Ajay became a yogi ऐसा क्या हुआ सब बदलने की थारी if you wanna know पढ़ो इनकी कहानी पढ़ो मेरे brother पढ़ो मेरी sister the story of the monk who became chief minister the monk who became chief minister the monk who became chief minister.
This is the guy Partho Ghosh who wrote the lyrics, sang, and also made this video. So yeah, having said that, let me go back to my presentation, and I'm sure it's visible to all of you. So yeah, my journey started with I first went to the village, Panchur village in Uttarakhand near Yamkeshwar, from where Yogi ji spent his childhood. And I met one of his juniors who went to the same government school where Yogi Adityanath went, just outside the village. His name was Deepak Chandra. And then it was a small lane. Our car could not go there, so we have to just walk down. It was quite a down hilly terrain, and lovely to go down there. There's the house of Yogi Adityanath, and you can imagine this is a simple house he's born and brought up in. If you see that lady, that old lady, that Yogi Adityanath ji's mother, she was 80 then in 2017 when I wrote the book, and she must be how much 17, almost 83 now. And like she was persistent after a long interview that we should eat food and then only go. And that kind of culture he's born and brought up in. I normally juxtapose that this is the picture of Yogi Adityanath, who is a chief minister, and this is the house of Akhilesh Yadav, who was also a chief minister. I think this itself tells the story. I'm sure you're trying to get what I'm trying to hint, that just looking at these two pictures, and I tweeted them also and it got viral, that what is the purpose of Yogi Adityanath to become the chief minister? To help the state to develop. And this is the purpose of Akhilesh Yadav and Mulayam Singh Yadav to become chief minister, to basically develop themselves. Otherwise, in chief minister's salary, you can't buy and access such a palatial home, right? Okay, this is Yogi Adityanath's mother. This is the research team that went with me. My publisher also went along, and we had a detailed talk with the mother and siblings, friends, school teachers, father. Right, this is his father. Unfortunately, he died recently, around 3-4 months back. I have multiple videos with him. He talking to me, telling about Yogi Adityanath, how as a person he was, and he was a very, very fun guy. His name was Anand Singh Bisji, and he told us couple of anecdotes, and I'll try to tell one or two, and that'll make the context interesting. So Rajeshji, he told one thing, that he was a forest officer. He used to work in UP Forest Department. Earlier it was UP, right? So it was UP Forest Department, and he told, I used to wear a khaki vardi. Khaki means like the police wala dress, right? The same color. And I used to wear a badge of 3 stars, and also UPF means UP Forest. And UPF looks quite similar to UPP. And he just joked that a lot of friends of Ajay was the name of Yogi Adityanath before Sannyas. So a lot of friends of Ajay used to think that I'm a police officer and used to fear from me, right? So that's fun, right? We had a long chat that how Yogi Adityanath was at when he was a kid, how Yogi Adityanath when he was adult, how Yogi Adityanath vanished one day, and later Anand Singh Bisji found that Yogi Adityanath became a saint, a sadhu, just through newspaper news. And then he went to Gorakhpur. Gorakhpur from Uttarakhand, from where the place they live, is quite far. Yeah, so he told the whole journey till he went to Math, right? Okay, and we went to all the schools where Yogi Adityanath studied, because his father was in transferable job. Yogi Adityanath studied in multiple schools. His teachers was quite happy to show us exactly which bench. So he was not a front bencher, he was not a back bencher, he was a middle bencher. In fact, you'll be surprised, one of the teachers got to know that this Ajay, who was their student, became that Yogi Adityanath who is the chief minister today. During our interviewing him, he realized that, and that was a fun thing for us. There's a lot of teachers, friends in his area, right, who went to the same school, Bharat Mandir Inter College in Rishikesh. And very interestingly, I am born and brought up at a place which is how much? 4 kilometers from this place. And I'm 41 now, is 47. I'm almost 6-7 years younger than Yogi Adityanath. So I'm wondering, well, Yogi Adityanath might be studying in Rishikesh. I was also around, right? Not in the same school, but I was also around, used to go to this school to meet some friends, to participate in some competition. So yeah, so the author and the subject of the author coexisted in the same place. That's also a fun fact. So yeah, again, just juxtaposing, this is Yogi Adityanath's school and college, and this is the college where Akhilesh Yadav went. Why I'm showing this picture? Just to juxtapose that what is the purpose of Yogi Adityanath to become the chief minister, and what is the purpose of other people in Uttar Pradesh to become the chief minister, right? Okay, this is how Yogi Adityanath looked. He used to sport shades, goggles, right? Like any young boy can. There are amazing anecdotes from when he was in college, right? In fact, once so happened that a group of students went to a nearby place for canvassing, right? For canvassing for local elections. One of the girls was contesting. There's a group of 10 people, 4-5 girls, 4-5 boys, and it got quite late. One of the girl got quite worried that my parents will not be very happy if I go so late, right? And the buses are not getting stopped because local buses used to think that these college boys and kids never pay tickets, so let's not stop for them. And the girls were almost teary-eyed, right? So Yogi Adityanath came in the front of next bus. He stopped it, and he was like, the bus stopped almost like an inch from him. Quite tricky, dangerous for him. And he made sure all the girls and all the boys also boarded the bus. And he made sure that they paid the money also, right? So that they changed the perception around the student. But like before, without worrying about his own life, he stopped the bus because a lot of his fellow students were not so happy late in the night away from the city, right? There's again some fun pictures. I'm sure you'll be able to identify Yogi ji. Yogi ji is this. If you can follow my cursor and shades here in bandana, Yogi ji is this. Right? So he has a college life like a lot of college kids had, right? So after that, so this is the time we spent in Uttarakhand, talked to a lot of people, talked to a lot of his friends. So a lot of his friends only gave these pictures from their mobile phones, right? We met a couple of them. Some owns a shop, some got married, some are in other city, some we tracked in Rishikesh, some in Dehradun, some in Delhi, some in Gurgaon. So that way I've been tracing one from another. I kept on meeting a lot of his friends so that I just want to know more about him. And I think my inquiry was that can I trace his current behavior, right? The way he's so decisive, he's so upright, he's so much doing so much for the people. Does that has a bearing of his upbringing? And I found very many things. I'll share a few, right? So his father was a non-corrupt officer, like very upright officer, and he used to teach those morals to Yogi Adityanath, and that became the part of his life, right? Later he became a monk also. That also had a bearing, but during his childhood and during his college years, right? They had a small field where they used to farm. His mother used to farm, right? And they had 4 or 5 cows. So taking care of cows, taking cows to the field for grazing, that was like the pastime for Yogi Adityanath. So he's brought up among cows, right? And there is a place called Yamkeshwar. The stories of Adityanath Shiva, the stories of a lot of freedom fighters were part of his upbringing. So yeah, so that's what Yogi Adityanath I was able to find out during his younger years, right? Then I landed up in Gorakhnath Mutt in Gorakhpur, quite far away from Uttarakhand, right? There's the Gorakhnath Mutt. I got one Maharaj Ji, one saint, who just got the ear piercing activity done. So the Nath Parampara, they call Kanfate sadhus, right? So they pierce not the down lobe, like the lobe in between the ear, right? That's one of the practices which it seems make the sadhus ascetic, right? And if you see in my book also, the cover of my book, you will find Yogi Adityanath also sports earring, right? So I talked to a lot of sadhus there, spent a couple of days there, and there are multiple things which are very noticeable in the mutt. First of all, mutt invites people from every caste and religion, right? And nobody is bothered what caste and what religion are you from, right? And mutt organize lot of combined food arrangements, right? They call sehboj, and they offer a khichdi, a yellow khichdi, and some preparation of dahi, right? Like more curry of Malayalis, right? As Rajesh ji told you, my mother-in-law is Malayali, so my wife is half Malayali. I'm very fond of Malayali food. So yeah, so they serve food to a lot of people every day, without considering what is their caste, what is their religion, right? That's very special about Gorakhnath Mutt. Nath Parampara is a very old parampara. It's like Patanjali Yoga Sutra. Nath Parampara also has their cult, their yogic practices, their spiritual practices. It comes from Adityanath Shiva, Matsyendranath Ji, and then in modern time, the guru of Yogi Adityanath Ji, Mahant Avaidhanath, was a member of parliament, and before that, a member of Legislative Assembly of Uttar Pradesh. Before that, his guru, Mahant Digvijayanath, who came from Rajasthan, he was also a member of parliament and a political leader. A lot of people ask me, Rajesh Ji, that why sadhus should enter into politics, right? They should renounce life, and yeah, why they should enjoy politics. And my answer is the following. First of all, even Yogi Adityanath says that mutt is a lever for me to do social change, to do social good. And politics is a bigger lever for me. For me, politics is not to enjoy something. For me, politics is a lever so that I can do larger positive impact in the lives of people whom I'm leading, right? So that's the way he takes politics, right? And also my own argument, like lot of Bahubalis, lot of goons enter into politics, we don't comment. A lot of Bollywood actors enter into politics, we don't comment. A lot of cricketers enter into politics, we don't comment. A lot of lawyers enter into politics, we don't comment. But for some reason, when a saint enter politics, we have a problem. I think the problem largely with the saffron robe. Where a lot of people, I'm not mentioning about the viewers currently here, but a lot of people are not able to digest the saffron robe. That how come someone from a priesthood can rule us, right? And that's why one of my videos which got viral, someone asked me that, how do you see Yogi Adityanath, right? And my point, I say the following, that for me, Yogi Adityanath represents these 4 things, right? First of all, he's a young guy, right? How many chief ministers, how many politicians became chief ministers at the age of 44, right? So he's a very young politician. Second thing, he's extremely, extremely popular. That's why he's winning elections, member of parliament election with exponential margin, election after election, right? In 2004 and 2009, when BJP was not doing very good and they lost elections in the center, Yogi Adityanath was winning his elections, right? So what is he doing right? He's a member of parliament. I just searched that what is he doing in the parliament and what is he doing in this constituency. Then I found out in parliament there are 4 things you can judge a member of parliament on: his attendance, number of questions he asks, number of debates he participates in, and number of private member bill he presents. I compare his data with Rahul Gandhi's data. Like Rahul Gandhi has 0 questions, he has 300 questions. Rahul Gandhi's attendance was 45-50%, his attendance was 80-85%. Right? Rahul Gandhi participated in 9 debates, Yogi Adityanath participated in 50+ debates. Someone asked me that Rahul Gandhi is not a very popular politician, he's not a very performing politician. Why are you making a convenient comparison? Then I did a comparison with the national average, and I found out that Yogi Adityanath is 1.5 or double of even national performance of the member of parliament in the house. That he became the member of parliament in 1998 when he was only 26, and since then he won the Gorakhpur seat consequently 5 times. Very interestingly, he fought one election in his college and he lost it. After that, he never lost an election. He won consecutive 5 member of parliament election and then a member of legislative council election, through which he became a chief minister of Uttar Pradesh. So first point, he's young, he's popular. Second thing, he's extremely hardworking in the parliament. His performance in the parliament is amazing. What is he doing in his constituency? Why is he winning Gorakhpur? You know what is he doing? He's putting a Janta Darbar from last 2 decades when he was not even chief minister. Now the Janta Darbar is even more structured, right? When Mayawati was chief minister, or Akhilesh Yadav was chief minister, or Mulayam Singh Yadav was chief minister, he was running his Janta Darbar, and 100 people, 200 people used to come every day and seek his recourse. And recourse on what? Not getting some tender passed for this. Scholarship is not given by Mulayam government, or their pension is not given by Mayawati government. And his just one call to the district magistrate or the CDO or to the related officer used to do wonders. Right? In fact, when I went to one of his Janta Darbar before he became the chief minister, one Muslim guy was coming. A lot of Muslim people also used to come and take his help. Right? He came and he said, I say this in Hindi and translate. He said, "Ye Baba ki jadui chitti hai. Chahe Netaji ki sarkar ho ya Behan ji ki sarkar ho, DM kaam karega hi karega." Meaning that this is a magical letter from Yogi Adityanath, be it Netaji's government, meaning Mulayam Singh Yadav's government, or be it Behenji's government, meaning be it Mayawati's government, the district collectorate or district magistrate will work because they know what Yogi Adityanath represents. Yogi Adityanath is a politician of people, right? That's the Yogi Adityanath I got to know. Then a lot of people told me that, okay, Yogi Adityanath is fine, he was good in parliament, but does he have administrative experience? He's just a member of parliament. Then I counted them. Yogi Adityanath's mutt run 44 large-scale institutions. He works like a CEO. And what are these institutions? This mutt itself is huge, where a lot of people come in and go. And then they have colleges, they have schools, they have hospitals, they have other recreational places. He works like a CEO with a huge staff, and he's managing it almost from 20-25 years. Right? And I'll tell you a very interesting thing. When he became the chief minister, he allowed me to sit in some of his meetings, some very senior level meetings. And I'll share a non-classified anecdote from one of the meetings. In one of the meetings, one minister asked, right, that we should develop more airports in Uttar Pradesh. Uttar Pradesh has only 3 or 4 airports, right? Then Yogi Adityanath said, I've already planned that out, and he mentioned which areas the airport should come, what kind of tarmac, what kind of air control system, what kind of passenger system, what kind of Boeing or which kind of airplane. And a lot of ministers were sitting, a lot of officers were sitting, they were jaw dropped that how come this Yogi, which normally should know only puja, knows so much about the aircraft and like aviation industry. And then they realized it seems he was in aviation committee sometime back when He was the member of parliament. So being a member of parliament, being such a rigorous member of parliament, he knows administration back of his hand. And then he ran a lot of MUT's institution, large-scale institution of MUT. That's why he's a very is a great taskmaster. That's why I'm from UP. I'm able to see that how in last 3.5 years, he has massively changed Uttar Pradesh, right? This is okay. Going back to the story, in around 1994, Ajay Singh Best becomes Yogi Adityanath. If you can see, this is Ashok Singhal from Vish Hindu Parishad. Then he was quite close to the MUT. Mohan Bhagwat ji from RSS used to travel, have visited Yogi Adityanath ji very often. This is Sant Nitya Gopal Das ji. He is the head of the Ayodhya Ramjan Committee, which is constituted to oversee the development and the construction of the temple. Unfortunately, Nitya Gopal Das ji is very sick right now, and I think he's in a hospital in New Delhi. Yeah, this is the time, I think in 2014, when Mahant Adityanath died, the guru of Yogi Adityanath, and obviously Yogi Adityanath was not quite happy, and then Yogi Adityanath was anointed as the Mahant of Gorakhnath Mutt. And he was not only the Mahant of Gorakhnath Mutt, he's also the head of all India Nath Samaj. And Nath Samaj, the Nath cult, is spread all over from Jammu Kashmir to Kerala, even Afghanistan, right? Then he got anointed, as I told you, in 2014, he got anointed as the Mahant of Gorakhnath Mutt. Till then, he used to be called Chote Mahant, and after the death of his guru, he became the Mahant of Gorakhnath Mutt. Okay, this is the comparison I was talking about, that till 2017, when he was in parliament, you can see the stark comparison between Rahul Gandhi, who is a big leader of Congress party, and Yogi Adityanath. And mind you, Rahul Gandhi is asking 0 questions from opposition government, and Yogi Adityanath is asking 306 questions to his own government, and that's called the rigorous politics. In today's politics, if you are there to work for people, you can't just flirt with politics, that you don't even come to parliament. Your attendance is abysmal. Even if you come to parliament, you don't use the instruments of parliament, like questions, like debates, like private member bill. And that shows the seriousness of Rahul Gandhi as a politician and the commitment of Yogi Adityanath as a politician. Okay, and finally, in March 2017, to all our happiness and pleasure, Yogi Adityanath took oath as the Chief Minister of Uttar Pradesh, right? And I wrote the book in a couple of months. By the end of 2017, the book was out. Luckily, the book was an instant success. Yogi Adityanath ji himself launched it. Book was an instant success. It went to Pune Literature Festival, then Goa Literature Festival, in Kerala Literature Festival, in Jaipur Literature Festival, Time Literature Festival. National University of Singapore invited me to Singapore to present about the book. I've done more than 1,000 TV shows on Yogi Adityanath, talking about his work, right? So yeah, I'm saying thanks to his personality, that even people accepted me also as a author, right? So yeah, book came in many languages. I wrote it in in English with Bloomsbury, right? That's where I wrote the book. Right, just give me a second. Yeah, this is the English. The monk who became chief minister. Very recently, the latest one came in Malayalam. I don't know what it reads. Maybe obviously very popular. He's from a Hindi state. So book came in Hindi, and then book came in Kannada, right? Okay, and as we are talking, so yeah, this is the set. This is I call it my wealth. This makes me the happiest and the most contented person. And in fact, I remember when I talk about him. I remember his father. When I was like leaving the interview, ending the interview, his father was almost choked, right, and almost teary-eyed. And he said, as a forest officer, I could have earned a lot of money through corruption. A lot of my colleagues did also, right? I have this small house, which you have seen, but I have only one capital. I have only one position. And I asked, what is that? He said, I have one honest chief minister's son, right? And we all were choked, and he was teary-eyed. And that's why we believe in the institution of Yogi Adityanath. Similarly, like Narendra Modi ji, right? Like, we don't even know who their family is, what they're doing. Right? Compare a Rahul Gandhi family or a Akhilesh Yadav family or a Gowda family or like any of this full of Thackeray family or so many Yadav families, so many families in India, right? Political families versus the family of Yogi Adityanath. We don't even know who are they, what do they do. We don't even know about the family of Narendra Modi ji, who is also a yogi in its own right, right? I want to show my screen, Rajesh ji, once again. Hopefully it's visible. Maybe do I have most? Yeah, let me just show my screen. If we can still show my screen, yeah. Okay. So yeah, the book came in various languages, and these are my other books. These are my other books, right? And I think here this photo represents something. Half of the scene, he's on an iPad talking to people, seeing dashboards, seeing how the state is being governed, and constantly he's not missing his puja, he's not missing his prayers. In fact, I've written an article which became viral in Op India, one of the very famous digital news portals, right? That puja ki thali in one hand, the plate of puja in one hand, and an iPad in another hand. Yogi's making Uttar Pradesh or Uttam Pradesh, right? Yogi is developing Uttar Pradesh, and I want to spend maybe next 5-7 minutes, and then maybe I'll pass it on to Rajesh ji, and he can ask questions, and maybe audience can ask questions, right? There are multiple things that we have seen in UP which we have never seen in UP. I as a citizen of UP can tell you, right? When he came in starting, I think his initial thing was hygiene thing, right? Like, come to office at 9 o'clock, right? Don't work from your home. To all the DMs and SPs and all the officers, you have to be in office, right? All the cabinet meetings were real cabinet meetings. Like, it seems in Akhilesh Yadav's time, the cabinet meeting note used to go to the each house of each cabinet minister, and they used to sign. There was no debate, no discussion, right? Whatever Akhilesh Yadav sent was the word of mouth. In Yogi Adityanath's time, cabinet meeting used to go for 3-4 hours, deliberated, discussed, and things got formulated, right? Uttar Pradesh police had a vacancy of 3 lakh people for the last almost 1.5 decades, last 15 years, in the rule of Mulayam Singh Yadav, Mayawati, and Akhilesh Yadav. Uttar Pradesh police was working with half strength. They were not fulfilling the seats. They were not filling the vacancies. And whenever they tried to fill the vacancy, they put the people of particular caste, and someone objected, and High Court stopped the recruitment. Finally, Yogi Adityanath came in 2017. His government resolved all the court cases, and as we are speaking today, a good news that all those 1.5 lakh police fellows are on the ground. After 2 decades, finally Uttar Pradesh police is working on the full capacity of 3 lakh. Otherwise, in the last 2 decades, they were working on half a capacity, and that's why what shows in Law and Order. Media showcases and make it big, 1 or 2 cases here and there. But again, in general, the law and order situation in Uttar Pradesh is improving drastically, and I'll tell you how. Right? I'll tell you 2-3 proofs. Right? You talk to, if you want to track law and order, you know what are the best thing, Rajesh ji? Follow money. Right? If the money is traveling to the state, meaning money is safe, investment is coming back. In 2018, when he did the investment summit, the investment MOUs worth 5 lakh crore Indian rupees got signed. That's equivalent to the whole year of the budget of Uttar Pradesh. And these were not only blank commitments. Almost 30-40% of the projects are on the ground as we are talking. Right? COVID, the way he managed COVID, like even WHO, World Health Organization, also gave a shout out, right? How he managed Japanese encephalitis. First year there were a couple of deaths, but after that, in the later 3.5 years, he worked so hard that even UNICEF has to say this is the model that world has to follow for solving Japanese encephalitis. UP Roadways was in huge losses. By 2018-19, it was showing a profit of 100 crores, right? Power in UP, there was a power cuts, massive power cuts. Now at district headquarters, you have 24 hours powers. Then in the smaller places, 22 hours, in the villages, 18 hours power. So on an average, people of Uttar Pradesh are getting 6 to 7 hours of extra electricity. And within some time, Yogi Adityanath government is making sure that there is a 24-hour electricity in whole of the state every time. Versus in Akhilesh Yadav's or Mayawati's time, it used to happen that full electricity will come only in a couple of districts, from where Mayawati fights election or where Mulayam Singh Yadav fight election. For them, their constituency or their voter are the only people. But Yogi Adityanath says, as Narendra Modi ji says, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. I don't know who voted for me. I don't know who did not vote for me. But now I'm the Chief Minister of whole of Uttar Pradesh. So I'll make sure that everyone gets benefited from what I'm doing in the state. So I'm saying the list is endless. List is endless. In education, what is he doing? In health, what is he doing? In infrastructure, what is he doing? What is he doing for farmers? Uttar Pradesh is one of the topmost states to implement the policies of Narendra Modi ji, be it the toilet scheme, be it the house scheme, be it the Jan Dhan. All of the schemes are beautifully being followed by Yogi Adityanath. And he's also a hard taskmaster during NTCA rights, NRC rights, right? A lot of people came after the Friday namaz and vandalized almost 14 states, 14 districts of Uttar Pradesh. Yogi Adityanath made sure that the rights do not continue even the second day. Then the very first day, the rights got controlled, and Yogi Adityanath made sure that all those people are identified. And now he has put the posters out in UP and he's making sure that all the money of the vandalization of the government property or the private property of people is being recovered from those people, right, who have vandalized it, right? I think that's why, because of its decisive nature, because of his popularity, now he's after Narendra Modi ji and Amit Shah ji, JP Nadda ji, he's among the top 4 pracharaks, or the top 4 people who are demanding star campaigners of BJP, even in the states where people don't follow Hindi very well. He was there in Kerala, he was there in Karnataka recently, he was there in GHMC election in Hyderabad, from Manipur, and that's what Yogi Adityanath ji is for you in this young age. He is being a 5-time MP, 3.5 years of chief ministership, and an amazing administrator. And I think we all pray for his good health, that he help us with his leadership in the time to come and years to come, right? I think this is what I wanted to present, Rajesh ji. Now it's over to you, and we can take questions. You can ask me questions.
Yeah. Okay, thanks a lot, Shantanu ji, for that wonderful session. I'm sure many people are watching online, and I'm sure they also must have enjoyed your words. So maybe first question from Ajit, which was my question also. What made him a yogi? Why he decided to take sannyas? You have some idea about that?
That's a very enigmatic question. Even I have written about this a whole chapter, that how he became a yogi, but there is no reason, right? And I'll tell you how, right? So first of all, he's born and brought up in a very spiritual environment, very, very moralistic environment. His parents, his all siblings were Uttarakhand in fact considered Devabhumi, right? He's born in Uttarakhand, hearing the stories of freedom fighters, stating the stories of God and goddesses, right? When he was in college, that time Ram Mandir movement was on, right? And Mahant Adityanath, his guru, he became the guru later, was doing an all India tour around Ram Mandir. He also reached the Kotdwar, where he was studying, and Yogi Adityanath ji heard Mahant Adityanath the first-hand basis, and he got super and mighty impressed with what Mahant Adityanath ji is doing for the construction of Ram Temple. And in fact, he felt kind of ashamed and tainted. Not tainted, that's a wrong usage of word. He felt like bad that in a country of Ram, in the city of Ram is living in a tent. We can't even give a proper good temple to Ram. We keep praying Ram, and he felt like kind of disturbed. That he went to Gorakhpur once after a couple of years and met Mahant Adityanath ji. Mahant Adityanath ji kind of spiritually realized that this is the person I want to make my disciple and pass on to my baton on to. And he said, Yogi Adityanath, then, that why don't you leave whatever you're doing and come back here and take the charge of this mutt, right? Yogi Adityanath said, no, I don't know what to do. He went back to his place, continued his studies. He did his bachelor in science. And then I think once Adityanath ji got quite sick, and he got admitted in AIIMS Delhi, an All India Institute of Medical Sciences, the hospital, the government hospital in Delhi. Yogi Adityanath got to know about it. He went to AIIMS Delhi and to meet Mahant Adityanath ji. And Mahant Adityanath ji kind of emotionally told him that now I don't know how much more time will I live. Now, please, I see a able and a spiritual disciple in you, and I want to pass on the baton to you. right? And then Yogi Adityanath ji said, okay, you get well, nothing will happen to you. You get well, you go to Gorakhnath Mutt back, and I'll try to come back soon. And by the time Mahendra Vednath went to Gorakhpur, Yogi Adityanath also went to Gorakhpur, and bag and baggage, he told at his house that he's going to Gorakhpur to maybe to join some job. And his parents got to know through a newspaper cutting that their son went to Gorakhpur for a job, for to say everything is a job, but to become a saint, right? So this is the journey of Rajeshji, he becoming a monk.
Okay, so now there is a question from Pramod, whether Bollywood will shift to UP. But I would like to add to that. So post-COVID, we see a totally different Yogi. He has become more energetic. He's going around and doing a lot of things. You know, he's very active nowadays. So, and he sees it as opportunity for UP, because many people were coming back, migrants from different states to UP, and people thought many bad things will happen in UP. But after that, you are seeing that Yogi is still winning UP, and more industries are coming. So, what is happening in UP now?
Pre-COVID also, but post-COVID, a lot of things got a lot of publicity. The way single-handedly leading from the front, he managed COVID, right? When on Delhi, the Delhi government kind of pushed their people out, and Yogi Adityanath standing himself there, made sure all the buses are making sure that the lot of people from UP and eastern UP and Bihar and other parts of the UP reach safe to their home destination. Right? How he made sure that all the Prime Minister's schemes, that the money transfer is happen smoothly, so that under PDS the grains are and all the grains and food grains are distributed properly, right? All the labor who is coming back, can they get somehow work under Manrega, right? So I think because of that, all of a sudden, even as I said, WHO also praised how Yogi Adityanath handled with the kind of health infrastructure UP has and the kind of dense population UP has. UP stood at the highest risk of COVID expansion, and in that capacity, they managed it rapidly, right? Yeah, Yogi Adityanath is Yogi. He's always energetic, and during Corona time, he made sure that a lot of factories who were getting shifted from China, who's not comfortable having business with China anymore, Yogi made sure that they travel to Noida or any other part of Uttar Pradesh, right? In fact, recently he declared that Hindi film industry should be like Kerala. Malayali movies are made in Kerala, Marathi movies are made in Maharashtra, but Hindi movies also made in Maharashtra. So there should be a change or a shift of Hindi movie study called Bollywood to UP also, right? So he reached out a lot of film people so that a film city, a large film city, or a filmmaking entertainment ecosystem can be built in Uttar Pradesh, right? So from last 3.5 years and in last 1 year, almost 8-9 months of COVID, he's making sure that value, prosperity, money can be generated in Uttar Pradesh, because if prosperity will not come, people will not be happy, right? So he's making sure that government money is spent wisely, and more business should be coming, so more and more people can be employed and prosperity can return back to Uttar Pradesh, which is evading Uttar Pradesh from last many years. So yeah.
Especially post-COVID.
Exactly. So even that's Rajesh's answer.
So maybe another interesting question. So now maybe this is people are looking him for the future also. So they're asking this question. So how comfortable is he in managing the foreign diplomats? So he is dealing with multinational companies to invite them to start business there. So how comfortable is he in dealing with foreign diplomats, business, etc.?
I think as I told you, Rajesh ji, he's not a new politician, right? He's a member of parliament from last many years. I'm sure a lot of you know, as a member of parliament, even in the ruling, even if you're not in the ruling government, because he was a member of parliament in 98, though he was not a minister during 98 2002 when Atalji was the prime minister. He was a member of parliament even then. But 2004 to 2014, till then Manmohan Singh was the prime minister, he was a member of parliament then. And since 2014 till 2017, when he left the member of parliament post for the chief minister, he was a member of parliament even then. So as a member of parliament, he was part of so many parliamentary committees. He represented India in various national and international forums. He has talked to a lot of journalists, Indian diplomats, foreign diplomats. I think for some reason, a lot of us missed that part. That all of a sudden he was sitting in Gorakhpur and he was made the chief minister. That's not. He is a career politician. He's in politics from almost 2 decades, right? And that to center level politics. So I'm saying, So it's not tough for him. Language might be a problem. So like language might be a problem for many. From like everyone, there's so many languages in the world. You can't understand all of them, right? But again, he had the sense of, I think if your aim is clear, right? Like Narendra Modi, nation first. I'll make sure that's my benchmark for anything. If you give me any proposal, the only litmus test for me, is it good for my country? Is it good for my state? And I think if that's the objective is clear, and you understand how governments, international governments work, I think it's not tough for politicians like Narendra Modi and politicians like Yogi Adityanath.
Okay, maybe one last question, Sanjay Chandraji. So we see him changing the way, especially in electioneering, like what we see in Hyderabad now. He came and he just took the Bhaginagar and the complete picture got changed. So how he became a sharp politician when he is at the same time a Yogi? So is in these two different mindset, different approaches? How do you think it? Why is successful in both?
So I think that's a very good question, and specifically Hyderabad election, and you know, right? BJP got 4 seats in the last municipal election. Now they have 44, almost 10 times, right? TRS got 99 seats. They are close to 60 seats now. They're a huge loss, right? So MIM, which used to be like the powerful party in Hyderabad, they become number 3, and Congress, who had governments, multiple governments in Uttar Pradesh, in Andhra Pradesh, they are not almost in distant 4th, right? And the BJP put their own weight. BJP worked very hard to win so many seats in Telangana and in Hyderabad. And 2023 Telangana election will be a very different election. And Yogi Adityanath played an important role. As you said, he talked about that why Hyderabad should be remembered by the entity of Nizams, right, who were not very good to the place, right? In fact, Sardar Patel has to use a heavy hand to agree them to sign on the instrument of succession. And he also told that why Hyderabad should not be called Bhagyanagar. And in Uttar Pradesh also, he restored the old names. A lot of people say he changed the name. I say he's not changed any name. He's just restoring the older traditional name which represents the place, right? So he restored the name of Allahabad to Prayagraj and Faizabad to Ayodhya, right? So, and as you heard, Rajaji, he's an amazing mixture of the development work and your cultural heritage. So if you hear any speech of Yogi Adityanath in Hyderabad, very crisp, smart speeches of 20-25 minutes, in the first 10 to 15 minutes, he talked about development. That what kind of development he has done in the state, what kind of development scheme Narendra Modi ji has pushed in whole of the country, right? And then he talked about how the current government of Telangana is how corrupt, how father and son are more busy in their own welfare than the welfare of Hyderabad city and the welfare of Telangana. And then he comes to the cultural aspect, that how identity of us and Indians is also very important. So he's an amazing administrator, he's an amazing politician, and he understands the cultural heritage of India as a sannyasi. That's why he comes across as a very strong administrator and a very able politician, which India needs.
Okay, Chandraji, maybe one more question, please.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so I'm connecting 2 questions. So again, everyone has this question. So what do you see Yogi Adityanath in the future? You think he's a prime minister material? And another thing is why media is always painting him in the wrong picture, especially in Kerala. We see that every day. So what we can do about that?
So I think we can do, first of all, do I see a prime minister in him? Certainly. And why I'm saying so, not because I'm a biographer. In fact, I want to read from the back of my book. In the back, you write a blurb, right? So I've written something and I want to read it slowly so that people can appreciate it. I said, a state with 22 crore people and 80 Lok Sabha seats is one of the major political pieces in India's electoral puzzle, meaning Uttar Pradesh. With the history of producing many prime ministers for the country, Uttar Pradesh has given yet another prospect from the prime minister office in the post-Modi era in front of Yogi Adityanath, right? So, and why I say so that Yogi Adityanath is a prospect for prime minister post, like whenever Yogi ji wants to retire, not now. I think we want the services of Yogi ji, of Modi ji as a prime minister for till he can in his healthy body, right? But again, by the time, let's say, even 10 years. So current term of Narendra Modi and the next 5 terms of almost 10 years, right? 9 years, right? By the time Yogi will be, he is 47 now, he'll be only 57, right? Which is very young for a politician. And by the time he will be 5 times member of parliament, or almost 2 terms chief minister, and the age is even under 60. Tell me a politician after 10 years who will be under 60, right? Being a member of parliament for 5 years, right? Lok Sabha, contesting very fierceful Lok Sabha election, and 2 times chief minister of a state like Uttar Pradesh, right? I doubt anyone will hold within BJP or outside BJP. Generally in India, anyone will hold such a strong CV, right? So just on the basis, and he's so popular, he's so super popular, right? That's what I'm saying. But again, I give this credit to BJP that whenever someone is worth taking the seat, they don't mind them catapulting. If you remember, Narendra Modi ji was almost a 3rd level leader. The top was Murli Manohar Joshi and Lalkrishna Advani. Then it was Arun Jaitley ji and Sushma Swaraj ji. Unfortunately, both of them are not with us today, right? And then the chief ministers, and one of them was Narendra Modi ji. And in 2014, how BJP and the larger Sangh Parivar realized and decided that Narendra Modi has it in him to win the election for BJP and be an able administrator, and they catapulted him above all the 2 top players based on the merit. And that's what other parties are lacking. Rahul Gandhi, Sonia Gandhi, Priyanka Gandhi, these are the only 3 choices Congress can have, right? Not based on merit, because you hold a title, right? Today Nadda ji is the chief, is the party president, not because the sons and daughter of relative of Amit Shah or Narendra Modi ji or Venkaiah Naidu or Rajnath Singh ji, right? Based on the merit, if you follow meritocracy, BJP will throw up some name, beat Yogi Adityanath or beat Smriti Irani or beat Amit Shah or beat Devendra Fadnavis. But again, he's one of the able leaders for us today. Second question you asked, Rajesh, why media is critical? I have read all those articles which are critical, and let alone Lucknow or Gorakhpur. A lot of these articles are written sitting in Delhi, sitting in Mumbai, sitting in Kerala, or sitting in New York even, right? They don't even know the ground reality. Based on some rumors here and some rumors there, they have painted the whole picture, right? Which is very different from when I went to the field, when I talk to people, right? And I think they are uncomfortable with saffron robe, right? Their problem is how a saffron robe person can be such a loved politician, and how can he be such a able politician? And as you say, especially in Kerala. And what can we do? I think we talk about Yogi ji, this talk of mine, make posters out of this talk, cut small videos, educate people. I can talk to further audience. And this book is available in Kindle and will be very soon available in the print copy also. Give this book to as many as people as you want. Make it a habit that you talk about him to at least 10 people in next 1 year, right? So that people get to know about the real Yogi Adityanath, not what media has created. So yeah, that's what I have to say, Rajesh.
Thank you so much, Shantanu ji, for this wonderful session, and also be kind enough to take our questions also towards the end. And yeah, definitely we are looking for the Kindle version. I think I have the link from you, and I will share that with my friends who are here. And also maybe we can have one more session later about your next book about BJP and as the party past, present, and future. So thanks once again, Shantanu ji, and wish you a good evening and also a great time ahead. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, and thank you to all who have listened.